Regarding a major historic site with significance for the entire community, Indiana State Parks held an open house. They want to know what to do with the home site where George Rogers Clark once lived, where a replica cabin burned to the ground. Many say this was the actual start of the famed Lewis and Clark expedition, not St. Louis. WHS 11 Night Team's Ford Sanders covers the different ideas.
Arson, but also going up in flames here, the nod to major history in this community. The site where the founder of Louisville, George Rogers Clark, once lived. Now a chimney is sitting where this replica of history once sat.
The Lewis and Clark expedition started right there when they met and shook hands. So it's an important part of our community's history.
Lynn Lewis lives in Clarksville and says she remembers the day the George Rogers Clark cabin burned down after someone set it on fire.
I could see the smoke from my backyard, and it was just a real tragedy for our community.
Now state park officials like Alan Goldstein want to know what community members would like to see on the site.
It's critical. I mean, these days, you don't want to do something without getting the input from your users.
This is the spot where the cabin sat for years before it was burned down. Now officials say it's important to talk to the public to decide what's going to happen here next. What that means talking with indigenous persons as well as members of the Black community to make sure everyone's voices are being heard in a decision like this. Goldstein says that day in May over a year ago was something none of them could have ever imagined.
Your jaw drops, because, that's like somebody burning down a playhouse in your backyard or your garage or something that's on your property. It's like, holy cow.
For Lewis, she says she's open to a number of ideas, but wants to make sure the history of the area is preserved.
We want our cabin back, but perhaps they can offer us something that will be even better.
Some, like historian Chuck Lewis, saying he'd even like to see plays or other educational events to share the stories of other historical figures important to the area.
Something that we can move around. Maybe for school children, maybe for senior citizen groups.
All agreeing now is the time to bring the site back to life. In Clarksville, Ford Sanders for the WHAS 11 Night Team, on your side.